Hi everyone, and welcome to Studio Jake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. I've got two big topics we're going to talk about today. First, we've got Steven Spielberg is leaving, as director at least, of Indiana Jones 5. Also, the next film in the DC animated movie universe, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, the creators behind that have dropped an official synopsis and have announced a huge casting list. All of these things are going to be awesome. So if you're on YouTube, be sure to like this video, share it out all across your social media platforms. Don't forget to subscribe. And when you subscribe, ring the bell, turn on all notifications. That way you don't get left behind if I do a video. If you're listening on Facebook, I highly recommend you do the same thing. Like the Facebook page and turn on all notifications, because YouTube and Facebook do these weird things where they curate your notifications and subscriptions, so you'll want to be up and up because you may not see it in chronological order as you think. With that in mind, sit back, relax, and welcome to Studio Jake. Big news coming out of the movie industry, the entertainment industry. Steven Spielberg is leaving the director's chair of the fifth Indiana Jones film. I'm really surprised by this. For those of you unfamiliar with Steven Spielberg, he is an iconic director. He, of course, directed Jaws, the first two Jurassic Park films. He's directed Schindler's List, and one of the most underrated films of all time, Bridge of Spies, which starred Tom Hanks. An incredible 39-year tenure. However, according to Fox Business, he is taking a pass at directing Indiana Jones 5. Instead, he's passing on the torch to someone new, according to Fox Business again. Insiders told the publication being Variety, that Ford vs. Ferrari director James Mangold may take over the new installment, though the deal hasn't been finalized. Spielberg will remain as a producer of the upcoming action adventure. However, it is currently not known whether Indiana Jones co-creator George Lucas will be involved in the project. So the first three Indiana Jones films are really good. They encapsulate what was going on in their time period. Fascinating films. I highly recommend all three of them. Indiana Jones 4, not so much. It had Shia LaBeouf in it. He was playing Indiana Jones' son. Just not as good of a film. Not as iconic as the first three by any stretch of the means. And before, the first three had sort of a supernatural edge to them. Instead, 4, they brought in aliens for some reason, and with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas on hand, you would think that it would be really well made, but it's not. They literally have a scene where Indiana Jones survives a nuclear explosion by getting in a refrigerator. Yes, yes, I actually hear that for a brief time in our pop culture vernacular, instead of saying jump the shark, which is how they describe a TV show when they're out of ideas, so they start doing more gimmicky stuff. I believe it comes from Happy Days, when the Fonz jumps over a shark in an episode, which is kind of funny, because I actually hear that episode was really well received. But anyway, that kind of became the jump the shark moments. They say in The Simpsons. The Simpsons had a jump the shark moment when you find out that the principal of Bart's school, that he's actually not who he says he is, and the real guy is angry and returns to try to reclaim his identity and all that. They say that was the jump the shark moment for The Simpsons and everything. So just for a couple of examples, but for a while, nuke the fridge became the new line when a movie or film started doing gimmicks just to get attention. So anyway, according to CBS Sunday Morning, Harrison Ford, who is 77, wow, is on set to work with Indiana Jones 5. They need to get this movie pumping out. So the Walt Disney Company They announced Indiana Jones 5 in 2016. This is Fox Business. Spielberg was originally meant to direct the film, however, production delays pushed its initial 29 release date to 2020 and then again to 2021 before he finally decided to step down. Disney execs told Variety that Spielberg's decision to remove himself was completely his decision. Prior to his exit, Spielberg had a tight grip on the Indiana Jones franchise, more so than his other cult franchises, Jaws and Jurassic Park. That's true. He did kind of lose control of Jurassic Park. He passed on Jurassic Park 3, which was good, but not as iconic as the first two. Jurassic World, I think, gets a lot of hate. I actually thought it's a really good film. It has a great ending. My only problem with it was Dallas Bryce Howard running around in high heel shoes. What? No one does that outdoors. No, every woman that I have ever known, when they're going to be outdoors and wandering around, has worn tennis shoes or mountain boots. But anyway, neither here nor there. Out of the 4 Indiana Jones films he's directed, Spielberg has earned 8 Oscar nominations. His last film, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is the one I mentioned earlier, raked in $790.6 million in the global box office with its 2008 release. Fox Business continues, if Mangold ends up taking it over, it will be the second time he has taken on a blockbuster franchise. He previously directed X-Men's final Wolverine movie, Logan, which marked Hugh Jackman's final appearance as a superhero and grossed $619 million globally. So I actually like James Mangold as a director. I think he's a fantastic director. I loved The Wolverine. Of course, everyone here knows my unpopular opinion of Logan. I thought it was a terrible film. I thought they took Professor X and Wolverine and really watered down their characters and made them into kind of caricatures of themselves and then thrust them into a bad remake of Pale Rider. That's sort of been my opinion of those two films. That's sort of been my opinion of the films. I do like Wolverine. I do think that it's a really good film. I enjoyed it a great deal. I did think the ending was kind of overblown with him battling the giant silver samurai, but other than that, I did think it was a good movie. I think that it was, as far as a Wolverine film, it is better than Logan, and as it shows the savagery of Wolverine, but also gives him sort of a weakness, makes him a little more vulnerable as a character, and it fleshes him out more, whereas Logan, he's just this old drunk who's taking care of a weakened Professor X, whose powers are going out of control. I thought that that was really a mistake, but anyway, all that being said, I still think James Mangold is a fantastic director. I would love to see him direct the Indiana Jones films. No one is really saying if Shia LaBeouf is going to return as Indy's son. I'm sort of thinking that he's not. I think that they're going to replace him with a different actor, and that actor may take over as a sort of a new generation Indiana Jones. The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull takes place in the 80s at the height of kind of McCarthyism. I think it's funny because in the movie they make fun of McCarthy, they make fun of people who are doing anti-communist rallies and how the government was so paranoid, thanks to the famous Senator McCarthy and all of his committees, and also the House of Un-American Activities, which was not James McCarthy. They always kind of blend him in with them, but they were actually a totally different thing. But anyway, they were kind of making fun of them, but then in the movie they showed like communists actually infiltrating the military, the secret agencies and whatnot, and operating in the United States. So it's kind of funny. They were making fun of people for being paranoid, but then giving a reason for why people should be paranoid. It was very hypocritical, but I thought that that's really funny. But I think he'll do a good job. I think he'll do a fantastic job. Hopefully he won't do what he did with Logan and, like I said, turn the characters into these, pathetic caricatures of themselves, and he'll actually go forward and build on what's being done. I honestly don't know why Spielberg wasn't giving the reins of Star Wars Episode 9. I think he could have fixed it better than Colin Trevorrow could have had, and definitely better than J.J. Abrams did. I think that, in fact, Spielberg was meant to direct a couple of the Star Wars films. He never got around to doing it. He was always tied to other projects, or there was some drama happening with George Lucas and the Directors Guild that always prevented him from directing the films. But I think that Disney should have thought about that a little bit more and had done that. That's my take on this whole thing. We'll have to see what's next for the Indiana Jones franchise. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. So, Warner Brothers Animation has this film franchise called the DC Animated Movie Universe. And basically, it started with a film called Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox, which was an adaptation of Flashpoint, and then it went on with Justice League War, Son of Batman, Justice League, Throne of Atlantis, and they've done like adaptations, like they did their own version of the Judas Contract. They did a film called Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. They did their own version of The Death of Superman. They did Batman Hush, and this film, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, has been announced as the final installment. It will end its run in 2020. I'm a little disappointed in this. I was hoping that we would see them adapt more movies in this franchise. I think part of the reason was when they first started it, the New 52 had just gotten kicked off, and so they were relying on the New 52 for a lot of their content. And now that the New 52 is over, to me they did a good job of transitioning it out of the New 52, but without having to do like anything like the comics do with a big explosive reboot. So I'm a little disappointed that they're ending it with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. So the official synopsis is the world's greatest superheroes square off once and for all against the despotic Darkseid, with the fate of all humanity hanging in the balance. And of course we saw Darkseid in Justice League War, as well as the death of Superman and reign of the Superman men. So they have announced the cast list, and I'm going to go through it. It's extensive, so forgive me. It's one of the largest that they have ever done. Jason O'Mara as Bruce Wayne Batman, Jerry O'Connell as Clark Kent Superman, Rosario Dawson as Diana Wonder Woman, Roger R. Cross as John Stewart Green Lantern and Swamp Thing, Matt Ryan is returning as John Constantine, Shamar Moore will play Cyborg, Taissa Farmiga will play Raven, Christopher Gorham will play Barry Allen the Flash, Rainn Wilson is returning as Lex Luthor. When I first heard he was going to be Lex Luthor, I was a little surprised, but he's actually a really good Lex Luthor. Rebecca Romijn, as Lois Lane. Camilla Luddington will play Zatanna. Ray Chase is returning as Jason Blood Etrigan, which that's a little surprising for me, because Jason Blood in the first Justice League Dark movie, he got separated from Etrigan, and then Jason Blood died. Etrigan is still around, but so that's a little surprising that they announced that he was returning in this manner. Hendon Walsh will be Harley Quinn. Stuart Allen will return as the Damian Wayne version of Robin. Jean DiMaggio will come as King Shark. Sashay Alessio will be Lady Shiva, and Tony Todd is returning as Darkseid. So what this looks like to me is, I'm actually surprised this movie isn't going to be in two parts, because that's what they do when they have like such a big explosive film like this for these films, these animated films. They typically will divide them into two. So they did that when, now this one isn't connected to this movie universe, but when they did The Dark Knight Returns, they split it into two parts so they could better tell those sequences of events. And they also did that with the Death of Superman storyline. They did Death of Superman in one film and then Reign of the Superman in a second one. Now I'm a little sad because I've really enjoyed these films. One of the reasons I'm a little bummed that they're not going to continue in this is with the Batman story arc. So Batman has his own films in this universe, in the DC animated movie universe, and they consist of a couple, and ones that I've really enjoyed: the Son of Batman, Batman versus Robin, Batman Bad Blood, Um, Batman Hush. Sorry, I had a brain hemorrhage there for a second, and so on. And of course, he's appeared in pretty much all the Justice League films. He's appeared in the Teen Titan movies as well. He also was a main character in Justice League Dark, which was a dark movie, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. Like I thought it was really well made. So anyway, expansive cast. It's going to be really good, I think. Like I said, I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad it's concluding because they kept expanding Batman's role in this. So, like for instance, in Batman Bad Blood, they introduced Barbara Gordon, who was not a character previously, and then she has a cameo in Batman Hush. But then now, since they're ending this film franchise, I guess we're not going to see her. I wonder what they're going to do next. If they're going, because before the animated films, they weren't ever. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? They weren't ever part of a movie universe. They just would adapt individual stories and make them into films. And in fact, some of them um, were made in between the DC animated movie universe. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see where all of this is going. It looks like this film is going to be expansive. It's going to include all the teams. It looks like it's going to have the Teen Titans, the Suicide Squad, as well as the Justice League and Justice League Dark. I have a feeling that because the animated movie universe, since it's so self-contained, they can actually kill off characters, which I have seen them done. If you hear like this loud beeping sound, one of my neighbors is getting a delivery and they're being really loud at dropping it off with loud beeps and honks and crashes. So forgive me if you hear, there was one, just another one. So if you hear that in the microphone, my apologies. But anyway, I think we're going to see some characters get killed off. We'll probably, if I had to guess, now this is just me speculating. I have heard no rumors about this and have not read any, but just speculating on it, I have a feeling that we'll see. As you notice, Hal Jordan isn't on the list, and he's been voiced by two different actors, but more popularly, he was voiced by Nathan Fillion in Justice League: Throne of Atlantis. So I have a feeling, and he wasn't in Justice League Dark. So I have a feeling we'll see him be killed off. I have a feeling that we might even see Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman killed off, similar to Earth 2 Society. Um, they've already kind of done like a testing ground where they had Nightwing take on the role of Batman in Batman Bad Blood. So that could very well be possible. Like I said, they've killed off characters before. They killed off Jason Blood and Justice League Dark. Spoiler alerts all around. But like I said, this is just me. This is just me spitballing, guessing. I think the Green Lanterns will probably play a bigger role in this since it is such an expansive issue with these stories. So anyway, that's what I think. One final note, and this has nothing to do with the previous two topics. I woke up this morning to find that Zuby, who is a singer, rap star, he has been banned from Twitter. I think that that is really, really sad. He is a rap star who he doesn't delve into the other stuff that one does when a rap star. But basically what happened was he had posted a tweet with dating advice, and a lot of people took issue of it because it was seen, because people see controversy everywhere. They attacked him for it, even though I thought it was perfectly reasonable for him to say. I don't necessarily agree with him. But then a YouTuber named Emily Gorsinski, who is a blue checked mark person known as Pronoun Enforcer. So right off the bat, she's a politically correct social justice person who she said something to him and he retweeted her and wrote, "Okay, dude," and so she reported him for Twitter and immediately Twitter took him down. She's bragging about this, by the way, on her Twitter. She wrote, "LOL, misogynist down, pronouns enforced," and she put the case number and everything. Um, and then she's like bragging about this, like, and so I first heard about this from YouTuber Dave Rubin. You of course know him from the Rubin Report. So I said, okay, at Twitter / at Twitter support, there was no need to suspend Zuby Music. He RT'd okay due to someone who argued with a tweet. That's blatant bias against dissent. It's overkill. And a few people started the hashtag free Zuby. So then I responded, I retweeted a screen cap of pronoun enforcers thing, and I said, the left hates you so much they will take you down. She went after Zuby because she disagreed with his advice on dating. So she literally tried to cancel him, and I put hashtag free Zuby, hashtag lonely left, hashtag censorship. So this is what the left does to anyone who disagrees with them. They will come after you, they will hurt you, they will take down your mode of communications because you have to be stopped. And I think that I've spoke about this before. Free speech is important. It should be held up, and I think that's so ridiculous. Sorry, my dog just barked. Todd, come here, boy. Come here. Okay, now went he went and hid after barking, so sorry about that. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at RealJakeberry. Instagram is RealJakeberry. Parler is RealJakeberry. And of course, find me on Facebook, author Jacob Airy. My YouTube is StudioJake. Head over to my blog, jacobairy.blog, where I talk about entertainment issues and everything in between. Don't forget to check all of those articles out because I've got a ton of stuff there. Also, get your copy of my novel, The Seven Royals. All good things. It's on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Kobo.com. You can download it from Apple Books, and also you can get it on Walmart. I know it's so hard to believe. If you want to really help me, though, get it from my publisher at BookLocker.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.